Have you ever heard of a fire that talks? A fire that guides the lost and shares wisdom? Gather around as the story unfolds. In a serene hamlet, nestled amidst towering trees and meandering forest trails, the nights were an enchanting symphony of tales. As the sun bid adieu, surrendering to the hills, and the sky donned a robe of deep blue, the villagers congregated around a welcoming fire at the heart of their settlement. These nights held a special place in the hearts of the little ones who, with twinkling eyes and hearts full of anticipation, would scamper from their homes, carrying petite wooden stools. They would form a circle around the fire, mesmerized by the flames, dancing in the inky darkness, their sparks ascending into the night sky, akin to miniature stars. At the center of this circle, like the nucleus of an atom, sat Baba Kofi. His beard, white as the moonlight, bore the weight of countless stories, and his eyes were a mirror reflecting the wisdom of many lifetimes. He was the village's raconteur, the weaver of dreams, and it was believed that his repertoire of tales was unmatched. The moment Baba Kofi would part his lips to speak, a blanket of silence would descend upon the village, broken only by the crackling of the fire. The children huddled closer to the fire, their eyes wide with anticipation, their ears eager to drink in his words. One such evening, when the wind hummed a soft lullaby through the trees and the fire blazed with unusual brightness, Baba Kofi cleared his throat and the silence deepened. "My children," he began gently, "many moons ago, before our village had flourished to its present size, there lived a young lad named Kojo. On a night with whispers of the wind and a fire burning brighter than usual, Baba Kofi began a story unlike any other. In this tale, we meet a young boy named Kojo, whose curiosity knew no bounds. Kojo was not like the other children in the village. He was a young explorer, a seeker of the unknown, a dreamer who saw the world as one grand adventure waiting to be discovered. While others stayed near the comfort and familiarity of the village, Kojo was drawn to the allure of the forest, with its vibrant canopy and the secrets it held. Every day Kojo would venture into the heart of the woods, his heart pounding with excitement. He would follow the rustling of leaves, chase after butterflies, and listen to the songs of the forest birds. He was a friend to the creatures of the forest, and they, in return, shared their home with him. But one day, as he was chasing a particularly enchanting butterfly, he ventured farther than he had ever gone before. The butterfly, with its wings that shimmered in the sunlight, led him deeper into the forest, past familiar paths, and into uncharted territories. It was an adventure after all, and Kojo was swept up in the thrill of it. But as the sun began to set, painting the sky with hues of orange and pink, Kojo realized he was lost. The familiar paths were nowhere to be seen. The forest, once an inviting maze of green, now seemed daunting and foreign. The chirping of the birds was replaced by eerie silence, only broken by the occasional rustling of leaves or a distant animal's call. Fear crept into Kojo's heart, replacing the excitement that once resided there. He started to run, his small feet struggling against the forest floor. But the more he ran, the more lost he became. Every direction looked the same: towering trees, rustling leaves, and the fading light. Exhausted and scared, Kojo finally stopped at a small clearing. He sat down, the weight of his predicament sinking in. The forest was growing darker around him, and he was alone. Kojo's adventure took a turn when he found himself lost and alone, with the forest growing darker around him. Just as fear began to consume him, a sudden warmth filled the clearing. A small fire appeared in the center, its flames dancing gently, casting an ethereal glow in the darkness. It was a sight to behold, a fire burning without any human hand lighting it. Kojo slowly approached the fire, its warmth drying his cold sweat and calming his racing heart. As he extended his hands to feel the warmth, a voice echoed, "Do not be afraid, young traveler. Kojo jumped back, his eyes darting around the clearing. But there was no one in sight. The voice spoke again. "I am the spirit of the forest fire." Kojo stared at the mesmerizing flames, his fear now mixed with surprise. "The fire is talking," he whispered, his voice barely audible amidst the rustling leaves. "Yes," the voice replied, its tone as soothing as the warmth of the fire. "I appear only to those who are lost but pure of heart." Kojo's fear began to subside, replaced by a growing curiosity. He found himself drawn to the fire, its flickering flames reflecting in his wide eyes. "You wandered too far from your village," the fire said, its voice gentle yet firm. "But sometimes being lost helps us find something important." Kojo listened attentively, his heart pounding with anticipation. This was no ordinary fire. It was a talking fire, a fire that held wisdom and knowledge beyond his years. It was a fire that saw him, not as a lost boy, but as a young traveler on a journey of discovery. As Kojo sat there, the fire continued to flicker, its voice echoing in the stillness of the night. The talking fire, a spectacle of nature's magic, or perhaps a manifestation of the forest's ancient spirit, was there at that moment, talking to a lost boy in the heart of the forest. In his fear and disbelief, Kojo found himself face to face with the talking fire. A unique encounter that was about to change his life forever. From the heart of the flames came wisdom, stories, and lessons for the young boy. The fire, with its soft, soothing voice, began to weave tales that were as ancient as the forest itself. The flames danced as they narrated stories of brave animals, wise trees, and trickling rivers, each holding lessons for young Kojo to absorb. Courage, the fire whispered, is not about being fearless. It is about facing your fears, acknowledging them, and then daring to step forward despite them. The fire crackled as if emphasizing the importance of its message. Kojo listened, his eyes wide, his heart pounding with the weight of the fire's wisdom. The fire continued, its voice a gentle hum in the quiet forest night. "Wisdom," it said, "is not simply about knowing many things. It is about listening, truly listening to the world around you. The rustle of the leaves, the babble of the brooks, the whisper of the wind. They all have stories to tell, lessons to teach. Open your heart to them, and you will grow wise." As the fire's words filled the night, the flames seemed to burn brighter, casting a warm golden glow across the clearing. Kojo sat, transfixed, the words of the fire seeping into his soul, changing him, molding him. "And remember," the fire added, its voice softer now, "every person carries a light within them, a spark. Just like me, this flame before you. Cherish it, nurture it, let it grow. It is your strength, your guide, your beacon in the darkest nights." Kojo sat in silence, the fire's words echoing in his mind. He felt a warmth spreading within him, a light growing, just as the fire had said. He was no longer just a boy lost in the forest. He was a boy filled with courage, wisdom, and a newfound understanding of the world around him. As the night wore on, the fire filled Kojo's heart with courage, wisdom, and a newfound understanding of the world around him. And so, under the starlit sky, Kojo found not just his way, but also his purpose, his strength, all thanks to the wisdom of the fire. As dawn approached, the fire had one final piece of wisdom to share. The flame flickered, casting a warm glow across the clearing. "Kojo," it began softly, "the forest is vast and can seem daunting. But remember, every journey starts with a single step. Don't be afraid to take that first step." The fire's words echoed in the calm of the early morning, filling the air with a sense of serenity. It continued, "The path may not always be clear, and you may stumble and fall. But remember, it's not about how many times you fall, but how many times you get up and keep going. Kojo listened intently, the fire's words resonating deep within him. As the fire spoke, he felt a warmth spreading within him, not from the fire's heat, but from the wisdom it imparted. The fire then said, "In the darkness, it's easy to lose sight of your path. But remember, even the faintest light can dispel the darkest shadows. You have a light within you, Kojo. Let it guide you when you're lost." The fire's words were like a beacon in the night, illuminating Kojo's mind, filling him with newfound courage. The fire then said, its voice softening, "Remember, Kojo, the path back home is not just about finding your way physically. It's also about finding your way spiritually. Listen to the whispers of the wind, the rustle of the leaves, the songs of the birds. They all have wisdom to share." As the first rays of the morning sun began to peek over the horizon, the fire gave its final guidance. "Follow the rising sun," it said. "It will guide you back home. And remember, Kojo, the journey is just as important as the destination." With the rising sun as his guide and a heart full of courage, Kojo set off to find his way back home, carrying with him the wisdom of the talking fire.